Hello friends and Assalamu alaikum. Friends, we are talking about a truck that had to travel 8,500 kilometers. But the problem was not only how to get the truck to travel such a long distance, but the real problem was that the truck was carrying a huge block of ice that had to be transported safely through the scorching desert of Africa. That means the truck had to spend 10 days in desert where even iron becomes soft. But the challenge was not to melt the ice under any condition, and that too without a refrigeration. Viewers, it was 1959 when the entire world's attention was surrounded by an ice block. The weight of this block of ice was 3,050 kg, and it had to be transported from one corner of the world to another, and that too without refrigeration. That is, its starting point was Mo i Rana in Norway, and its end point was Libreville, a city in the Central Africa. But why was this happening? Actually, this beta is started a year ago in 1958. Luxembourg is a country in Europe where a very famous radio station was operated from. This broadcast was known throughout the world as Radio Luxembourg. A unique challenge was given to the all listeners by this radio station. And the challenge was, if a man could carry 3-ton block of ice from the Arctic region to Africa, so they will be given a great reward. It was decided by Radio Luxembourg that 1 lakh francs would be paid for each kilogram of ice, which is about $16,000 in today's terms. A 3-ton block of ice makes a total of $48 million, which is a huge amount indeed. But this challenge also had some rules. The first rule was to move the ice in one piece, while the second rule was that it would only be delivered by road. The third and most difficult rule was that the refrigeration could not be used to complete the challenge. Radio Luxembourg offered such a large reward because they knew very well that it would not be possible under any circumstances to bring such a large piece of ice from the Arctic region to Africa, because it's not a small journey, but this journey is 8,500 kilometers long, 2,500 kilometers of which is the desert of Africa, where the temperature is 50 degrees Celsius. Radio Luxembourg challenged its listener, but they had no idea that their own challenge would land them in so much trouble. For several months after the challenge was broadcast on the radio, no one dared to step forward. But then a man named Bergen Natvik announced that he was ready to take on the challenge. Natvik, who was the managing director of Glasfart and Insulation Company in Norway, he believed that this challenge could be easily met by using his company's insulation. What spread around the world that a man had accepted Radio Luxembourg's ice block challenge. To accomplish this task, Natvik formed a team and set to work to complete the challenge, which led to Natvik making several newspaper headlines. All attempts to complete the ice block challenge were matched until Radio Luxembourg feared losing huge sums of money and withdrew its offer after fear. Because the Glasfart company and its director had become quite famous, even though the challenge was over. But despite this, Natvik still wanted to complete the challenge, because doing so will increase the publicity of their company. So now it was time to start the challenge. The block of ice will be transported from the Norwegian city of Mo i Rana to Denmark, Holland, Belgium, France, Spain, and Morocco, then through the Algerian desert to Gabon. Natvik team consisted of an engineer, 4 driver, a truck mechanic, and 2 cameramen. They decided to cut a 3-ton block of ice from the glacier, but it was difficult to lift such a large block of ice at once. So 200 kg block were cut and sent down by helicopter. Natvik and his efforts were also getting a lot of media attention, and that's why many companies started sponsoring Natvik to complete this challenge. Shell took charge of the fuel, and Scania gave them a truck in which the ice block was to be placed. So 3,000 kg block were brought down the glacier and refrozen. A single block of 3,000 in 50 kg was made, and the block was loaded into a truck with an insulation on the sides. After a thorough installation on 22nd February 1959, this unique journey finally began. The initial journey was very easy as the weather in these areas was pleasant and the roads were well paved. The crew of this truck used to pass through any city and were welcomed by people there, and they used to cheer them up by shouting slogans. As the journey of these people increased, so did its publicity. When this truck was passing through the Paris, the police also gave them a special protocol through the crowded areas. A week had passed since the trip. After arriving in Paris, the truck was lifted onto a ship by crane as they now had to cross a large part of the ocean. On reaching the other side of the sea, the situation was completely different. The truck had now reached the mainland of Africa, where the heat was intense during the day. Not only was the ice block at risk of melting, but travel on hot sand also put the truck's engine at risk. And with them, there was also the fear of deterioration of the health of the staff. Apart from all these risks, this truck was also a security threat. Because the war was going on the desert they were passing through, and the freedom fighters were hiding in the mountains, they could even prove their point by taking the truck and its crew hostage. The government here has made security arrangements for trucks and their crews in certain desert areas, and it has given them a special instruction to drive through the desert with as few stops as possible. But due to the lack of roads in this desert, the truck often gets stuck in the sand. Whenever the truck got stuck, it took hours for crews to get it out of the sand. On the one hand, there was fear of freedom fighters. On the other hand, the heat wasn't the condition of the staff, and the heat started melting the ice inside the truck. If the crew gets stuck here, neither their mission nor the ice retrieved from thousands of miles away will survive. They also warned the animals of travelers crossing the desert with melting ice, which was actually the most expensive water in the world. They spent many nights lying on the sleeping bags on the sand and slowly made their way towards the destination facing difficulties. At last, they succeeded in leaving the desert behind, and now their destination was very near. After a full 28 days of travel, the truck crew and the rest of the block of ice managed to reach Libreville. He was warmly welcomed on his arrival in Libreville, but everyone wanted to know that how much ice was left in the container after 28 days of travel and extreme condition. The surprise came when the truck container was opened. It was hard to believe the scene inside. Yes, when it left Norway, the block of ice weighed 3050 kg. But after a grueling 28 days journey, the block of ice surprisingly weighed 2714 kg. Only 11% of the ice, or 336 kg of ice, had melted along the way, and the rest of the ice block was in one piece. Of course, Radio Luxembourg had withdrawn from its offer, but still the challenge was a complete success. And this block of ice was broken and distributed to the people of Gabon because they had never seen ice before. Nartvik and his company received no cash reward at that time, but the publicity boosted his company's sales. Nartvik still manufactures an insulation material called glauber, and since 1959, their popularity has increased further. Thanks for watching.